Golden Bears. Welcome Coach Wilcox to the stage. He'll go ahead and give his opening statement, then we'll open up for your questions. Just as a reminder, the microphone is there in the back, so if you can just go and go to the microphone to ask your question, state your name and affiliation, and then make sure you speak up so you can hear you. Okay, Justin, you're good.
Okay, well, it's great to be back. Going on year 6 at Cal, and we will be kicking off training camp this Thursday, actually bringing back about 150 to 200 alumni to send us into camp, which will be really exciting, and looking forward to a very, very competitive fall from our team. Joining me today, we got a couple of our players back here, Matt Cindric, who's a senior offensive lineman, and Daniel Scott, who's a 6-year safety for us, both excellent players and great representatives of the program. So with that, love to open it up for questions.
Down here, Coach. Emmanuel Macedo with the Daily Californian. I wanted to touch on, how do you approach the season with only 18 returning players from the previous season?
There's going to be a lot of new faces playing for us, and there's going to be times you're going to be inexperienced at certain positions or units. However, we feel really strongly about the talent on the team, so we have some inexperienced guys, but we have some talented guys, and they've had a really good offseason, and now it's about putting it all together, creating some rhythm, and getting into the season where we will be tested each and every Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
Questions for Coach Wilcox?
Hello, Coach. Kenneth Berry, touching out the tangents. In regards to, COVID and everything that happened with the program, what were some of the good things that came from the team, and how they kind of soldiered through that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously, there were some things that were out of our control that we had to work through. But I thought the players on the team and the staff did a really nice job of sticking together through some difficult moments, and finding a way to keep improving, keep competing. We started the season last year not well at all, and finished the season much stronger. And really, it's attributed to the chemistry and the way that the guys stayed together and kept competing, and that bodes well for the future.
And for the senior class, guys that kind of either lost during that season, we got a chance to hear their story. What are some of the faces, and moments during that time that really still stick with you?
Well, I think the group as a whole had a unique experience, and there was some adversity along the way, and that's just how that's how football goes. That's how life goes, and I think it, even though it's not always fun at the time, it does teach them and us a lot of lessons along the way. And so really proud of how those guys, as I mentioned before, how they stayed together. They were great teammates. They care about each other, and ultimately that'll serve them well.
And USC, UCLA, on the verge of leaving. Where do you feel like that puts your program, in a sense, because Cal would be the other, the major UC school? Do you feel like recruiting-wise, is that a bonus for you, or how is that even processed for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think anymore, not much surprises me. Was it big news? Yeah, it was. But I'm very bullish on our program, our institution, what we can offer a young man who wants to come get a great education, get coached well, get treated really well. And so we will continue to recruit California very hard, so that won't change one bit. But I understand that, especially for the traditionalist and all of us, that when things like that happen, it feels a bit uneasy. And there's just change in college athletics right now. There's change in college football, and we got to adapt and adjust with it.
And what's a lofty goal that either this senior class or a goal that you've pressed to the team that you want to see them go out and achieve?
Yeah, the goal is to win the Pac-12 championship. I mean, that's been our goal, and we work every day towards that. We know that's a lofty goal, but with the guys on the team and the people in our building, that's what the goal is and where it's been set. And we have conviction that if we take care of the things we can control, we'll give ourselves an opportunity to attain it.
Hey Justin, Ryan Young with Rivals. What gives you confidence that the offense can take a step forward this year?
I can't hear you. One more time, please.
What gives you confidence the offense can take a step forward this year?
Yeah. We feel we are inexperienced on offense at a number of positions, but we feel like there's the talent is probably greater than what we've had. The skill positions, we feel like we're going to have some more guys that create explosive plays, and then we as coaches got to put them in position to do that. We'll have a new quarterback. We feel strongly about the two guys at the top of the board there, and Jack Plummer and Kai Milner. We have a stable of running backs that we feel strongly about, tight ends. The offensive line has a few returners, and they'll have some new players. We also took a couple transfers to help us at that spot, but we would expect us to take a step forward and, getting more specific. It's really scoring touchdowns in the red zone and creating explosive plays. Those are the two areas where we got to make the biggest jump, and if we do that, we'll give ourselves a chance to win.
Is there a specific benchmark you have for the offense that you want to hit?
I mean, statistically, score more than the other team. That's our benchmark.
With Jack, obviously you scouted him before you took him in, but going through spring, seeing him in person, how did he compare to the player you thought you were bringing in?
Who are you talking about?
Jack Plummer?
Jack, he was probably even better than we thought. He's a very heady guy. He's played college football at a high level, and he can throw the ball. Jack is a passer, and it's very natural for him to deliver it. So we're excited about where he's going, and there still needs to be some chemistry and rhythm built. It doesn't happen overnight, but he's put in a lot of time, as has Kai, with the group of receivers and tight ends, and can feel strongly about what those guys can do.
And just lastly, what was the separation between Jack and Kai in spring?
Probably experience. Jack has some experience, and he did a really good job picking things up, maybe quicker than myself or Bill would have expected, Bill Musgrave. And so he's doing a really nice job. Kai's going to continue to push and grow as a player. He's a little bit younger, but if we were playing tomorrow, Jack would be the guy. But I expect him to continue to improve because I know Kai is as well.
Dan Greenspan, Associated Press. Justin, we heard from David Shaw earlier. He said he would like to see Stanford continue to play USC and UCLA as non-conference games. Do you have any thoughts on continuing those rivalries?
Yeah, I mean, those are conversations that are going to happen at an administrative level and even maybe above that. I'm all for playing whoever's on the schedule, to be honest with you. I don't know that they're going to ask me. If they do, I'll give them my opinion. So, yeah, sure, put them on there. Let's play. Two great programs, so let's play them.
Yeah, Coach Steve Finley from the Culver City News and the Culver City Observer. You talk about bringing in a lot of alumni. How important is that to this program?
It's really important. And unfortunately, the last couple of years, we weren't able to maybe be in person as much as we would all have liked to. But we've kind of scheduled a couple standing events to get a bunch of our ex-players back, and the first one is check-in day, which will be Thursday. So we're going to have a good barbecue with I think it might be up to 200 football alumni there, and saw a couple of them today, and we're really excited for them to meet our players and share some of their experiences and make a connection, and probably talk about the old days as well.
I'm back. You mentioned not being surprised by anything, but going back to the UCLA USC move, do you recall where you were when that news broke, and Was there some initial immediate apprehension about what that meant for the conference, for where Cal fits in, all that
I'm
stuff?
having a hard time,
Yeah.
you're having a hard time hearing me.
Do you recall where you were when that news broke, and was there any initial apprehension about what that meant for the conference, what that meant for Cal?
No, I mean, I believe I was traveling. I got off a flight and I had a couple messages, and then you get 1,500 links to articles and this article and that report. But I can't say that I was overly surprised. I don't know that any time it's not going to give you a little bit of a, you weren't expecting it maybe on that day, but I don't know that I was overly surprised. Apprehension, no. I still can have conviction about where we're going as an institution and the schools in our conference. We got some really good programs, excellent schools, and great coaches. And like I said, I'm confident and bullish on the future.
On that note, how much have you been looped into the internal conversations just about all this stuff the last month?
Internal conversations?
Yeah.
Not many. Yeah, very few. Very few.
Coach Troy Clarity, the TreeCast, two different things. One, I'd imagine that this is your first normal off season that you've had in the last 3 years. How much of a difference could that possibly make in setting the table for what you guys might be able to do in this fall?
Well, it has felt more traditional off season in terms of our preparation and spring practice and weight room and all that. So, yeah, it matters. But ultimately, we got to go out and perform on Saturdays. That's where we will be judged, and I'm confident in the players on the team and the work they've put in, and I know we're going to go out and compete really hard, but we need to go out and play well. I mean, we had a number of games last year where we could have done a few things differently and found ourselves on the other side and won those games, and we didn't get that done. So ultimately, it's about the Saturdays, but having this more traditional off-season, certainly doesn't hurt.
Second thing, as long as you've been running the show in Berkeley, defense has been what this program has been able to hang its hat on. How do you stack up this defensive unit potentially against some of the others you've had in Berkeley, and how big of a role is Daniel Scott going to play this season?
Yeah, I think we have a chance to be pretty good. There's some, the interior of the defense, the defensive line, the inside linebacker positions, we feel very strongly about. We also have some younger players that we feel like have an opportunity to step up on the edge and in the secondary. But ultimately, time will tell. It's hard for me to judge one defense against another when one of them that we're judging hasn't played yet. So we will see. All good?
Any other questions for Coach?
All right.
Nope.
Go Bears. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Oregon State will be up at 2:30.